Hey everyone, Kyle here from RDM2120 again. I'm not incredibly tired this time. Today I'm going to be coming at you with a deck profile. This is a bit of a different one though. It's a traditional deck profile. For those of you who don't know, which is probably everyone unless you clued in on Clint's video, me and Clint do play traditional occasionally, and this is the deck that I use. So we may actually do some videos of us dueling, maybe in real life or in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, of us doing traditional decks, because not very many other YouTubers do them, so I figured, why not? Let's do those. Let's do something different. Also, traditional is fun, because there's no ban list. It's all limited. It's just an extended limited list. Anyway, I guess I'll go on with the deck. It's a traditional Chaos Dragon deck, if anyone couldn't tell. So we'll start off with Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Obvious. You're only allowed one though. He's a key combo piece, but yeah, you need one. Dark Arm Dragon. He's in here mostly because he's another dark, and he does hit the board occasionally, but not very often. I use him because he's a dark and he's a dragon, which makes him a good target, and he's better than Dark Horus. Chaos Emperor Dragon, this guy is retarded as fuck. He can never, ever return to the game if it wants to stay, like, playable. He's just too good. Searches, and people don't know this, but this card is ruled to act like Skyscorch and Alaris, where Pulsar will not miss his effect with mistiming with his effect because it's VD. It's the most retarded ruling ever. I actually didn't believe it when I first did it on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but I asked a bunch of people that I know, a couple people that I know have even judged at events, and they told me it is ruled like Skyscorch and Alaris, where the burning and the sending happen simultaneously, like how in Skyscorch the sending the cards and then drawing one is simultaneous. It's retarded, but whatever. Makes the deck retarded. Chaos Sorcerer, this would be a BLS, but I need dark targets. This deck has a lot of problem in terms of good dark targets, so I put this in instead. If you really want to, you can run BLS, but I like to keep the deck at 40 cards, and I feel that I was lacking darks. 2 Light Pulsar. You only need 2 for this deck. While it is a key combo piece, there's just so many ways of getting this thing in the graveyard or in your hand that it doesn't really matter, because that's where you need it. Three Dark Flare. Unlike Pulsar, where you only need 2, you do need 3 Dark Flare. He speeds up your deck. Also, he's one of the main pieces you want to open with if you open with your 2-card combo, just because he makes it more consistent. Also, he dumps your Eclipse Wyverns and stuff. He can banish your Eclipse Wyverns for his effect. He's just overall a really good card, and you need him at 3. Likewise, 3 Eclipse Wyvern. You're running 3. Normally, you could only run 1 or 2, because of triple Dark Flare, meaning he's going to get in the grave anyway. But you run retarded cards called Painful Choice and Feature Fusion, and you want at least 2 of these in your deck at all times for Future Fusion, and you want all 3 in your deck for Painful Choice. So that's why. Cause if you're running 1 or 2, you want to get 2 searches off either of those 2 cards. So that's why you're running this, because usually they'll just drop this back into your hand. Two Tour Guide from the Underworld, and Sangan, because it's a Tour Guide engine. Fills your graves up with darks. Sangan will search. Yeah, good stuff. Witch of the Black Forest. She searches so much. She searches Dark Arm Dragon, she searches Pulsar, she searches Dark Flare Dragon. On top of that, she searches off pretty much everything else that Sangan searches anyway, so there's no downsides to her at all, outside of her being a level 4, so she's not tour guidable. And then I run a milling engine pretty much. 2-card Trooper, 3 Raikou. I'm running 3 Raikou because Ophion is a thing. And yeah, 1 Lila. You don't really need Lila too much because not that many decks are playing back row. Also, you can just spam her constantly with Illuminas anyway. The Lightsworn engine, it's in here mostly because the deck does have its stages where you're not drawing into the absolute nuts. And the Lightsworn engine will just help you grind through that anyway. That's what it's here for. And then hand traps, it scores and 2 effect Veiler. I would put more in, but no room. Actually, I guess I could put Maxx in here. Reborn, Raigeki, Trunade, Cold Wave. These 4 are really good. I would like a Harpies Feather Duster, I just don't have one. You don't even necessarily need it because of Cold Wave and Trunade anyway, but really good cards. Cold Wave is really good for a second turn, or when you're going to go off with your monster play. You can just Cold Wave, and then you're pretty much good. Trunade does the same thing. Usually when you're going to do your big push, you just Trunade and then go off. Raigeki, it's Dark Hole, but better. And Reborn's Reborn. It'll be played in any format. So auto win buttons are Future Fusion, a painful choice. If either of these 2 resolve, you've pretty much won the game. They both let you dump 5 cards. This lets you dump 4 and then you add 1 to your hand. Usually you're going to end up adding an Eclipse Wyvern, which is a perfect target for your Dark Flare Dragon. The 2 card combo is either of these 2 and a Chaos Monster. With this one, it's really, really weird to do unless you have a Dark Flare Dragon, but it is possible to do without one. You need 2 Chaos Monsters though if you're going to be using this. This, you can have any Chaos Monster and this in your hand and you've got the combo. Overall, this is a better card, but Painful Choice is still an auto win button. The advantage of Painful Choice though is it can't be MST'd. Then draw, I have Graceful Charity, Thought of Greed, Allure of Darkness, and I could put 2 Maxx's in here and I might, 2 Hand Destruction. The reason I was putting the Hand Destruction in is because I actually used to run a little Blue Eyes engine in here before I got most of the cards, and I would use this to dump eggs and search, and then use trade in and do more shenanigans. But you can take these out for Maxx's. I just like them because they're a bit more reliable. I don't have to wait for my opponent to start spamming the field, and I can use them on my turn. And you can dump dead cards in your hand, like Eclipse Wyvern, and still end up plussing off that later to help reverse the fact that you're going -1 with this. Lure, I run Darks, so I can, and there are times where you do need it. Pot of Greed, Spot of Greed. This is the kind of card that every deck runs it at whatever it's at. And that's at 0 right now, so every deck runs 0. If it was at 1, every deck would be running 1. If it was at 2, every deck would be running 2. And if it was at 3, every deck would run 3 of it. Graceful Charity, draw cards and get rid of cards you don't need. It gets you those extra dark targets, gets you those extra light targets, it gets you your Eclipse Wyverns in the grave, it gets everything in the grave. This card is so good in this deck. I love it. And then I run Charged Light Brigade. Book of Moon. Book of Moon turns cards off, and I like it more than Breakthrough Skill because I can use it immediately. And Breakthrough Skill is kind of too slow for this deck. It makes your deck play slower. And Charged Light Brigade. Just searches and mills. Yeah, that's the main deck. The extra deck's not done, but doesn't really need to be. You don't really need an extra deck for this deck. Pally Dynamo, Leviathan Dragon, Zenmains, Tempo, that's all the exceeds for now. Synchros are Stardust, Scrap, and this thing. I'd rather run Black Rose, but I don't have one. And then 5-Headed Dragon. That's really all you need. All you need, really, is this and the rank 3s. That's really all you need. Everything else is just kind of a bonus. I like Starliege though because it can get rid of Ophion. That's why he's here. You can make him with Eclipse Wyverns and Lila and stuff, and then search off Eclipse Wyvern and do shenanigans. Anyway, I'll do the 2-card combo real quick for you. It doesn't require much. It requires, I'm going to use Feature Fusion because it's the easiest one to do. Any Chaos Monster for the sake of it. Depending on what you have, on which Chaos Monster, really depends on what you need. If you have Chaos Emperor Dragon, you actually don't need anything else. You just need a other light and dark in your hand. Actually, no, not even that. You just need a light in your hand. If you have Light Pulsar, you don't need anything other than this and Light Pulsar. If you have Dark Flare, you need another light, Dark Flare, and then this. So I'm just going to do the Dark Flare one for the sake of it. And we'll say your other light is a Lumina. Just because. So what you're going to do is you're going to play Feature Fusion. So let's just make that bigger. So you're going to play Feature Fusion. You're going to target your 5-headed dragon. And you are going to send 3 Eclipse Wyvern and 2 other Dark Dragons. In this case, because I sent all 3 Eclipse Wyverns, I'm going to send 2 Dark Flares. So I send the 2 Dark Flares, and then you have your Eclipse Wyverns search out these 3. So these 3 are being searched. So then you summon your Dark Flare by banishing one of the Eclipse Wyverns and the other Dark Flare, so they're now banished. You add Chaos Emperor, it has to be Chaos Emperor. Make sure you add the right Eclipse Wyvern. So then you summon Chaos Emperor, banish that Eclipse Wyvern, this thing, to add, where the hell is it? There it is, Darkness Metal. Then you use that thing's effect to send this, and this to banish this, which lets you add this, and where's the Lumina I said you had in your hand? Yeah, there it is. So now you have a hand. This is your graveyard. This is your hand. Then ditch these 2, light and dark, for Light Pulsar. Activate Chaos Emperor Dragon's effect. Nuke everything. Sends to the grave. You're going to generally burn for anywhere from 2,000 to 3,900 generally. And then Pulsar's effect activates. Bring back your red MD. And then red MD brings back Chaos Emperor, and that should be enough for game, because you've got 5,800 on board right there. If you don't have game, you can generally just push and then use his effect again for game. And if you're not going first, or sorry, if you're not going second and you're going first, you don't have to bring him back. You can bring Pulsar back just to be safer. I do not recommend doing this against Dragon Rulers. This deck actually beats Dragon Rulers in the traditional version a decent amount of time, as long as you do not do this first turn. You want to do this on your second turn, because usually you can live a hit. And then, unless they open the absolute nuts, you can live a hit, and then you can retaliate with this and just win. Unless they have a Veiler. Because you can just push through the Maxi. Maxi doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the combo. And that's the deck. So yeah. This is Kyle from RDM 2120 signing out.